Hello, welcome back to For Real. We are pleased you're here and we want to thank you for watching our videos. Did you know that we donate all the money we earn from YouTube to charities operating in Cambodia? Even better, did you know you're helping us earn this money just by watching? This month, our revenue from YouTube was $200 Australian. We donated 100% of those funds to Heartprint as they have a Match It May campaign going on this month. Several small businesses in Australia have joined the campaign this year and have pledged to match donations from individuals. It's a great way for your donation to go a lot further in the kingdom. Heartprint do some fantastic work up in Siem Reap province, building houses for people that don't have one, and also for putting in properly plumbed toilets for people that don't have that facility in their house. Today's ride is the second half of the ride from last week. It's a romp through Kampot's countryside by Ryan and Sarah over at Itchy Feet on the Cheap. I know you all enjoyed last week's views, so thanks again to them for providing the ride. Did you know Ryan has a second channel? It's called Walking Tour, where he wanders the streets of Phnom Penh capturing the sights and sounds for your YouTube consumption. Believe it or not, it's true. Let's get to the news of the day. May the 4th be with you. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2022. Cambodia's border at Poi Phet opened for all travellers on Sunday. It had been closed for 2 years prior to that. Provincial Border Immigration Chief Sem Makara said, "We are prepared to welcome tourists and we will do our utmost to facilitate their crossing when they come through Poi Phet or anywhere in the country. Travellers also need not worry about security at Poi Phet." If you don't want to cross the border by land, you can always fly, and there's some good news this week. AirAsia, Malaysia's low-cost giant, has resumed flights between Kuala Lumpur and Siem Reap. There will be 2 flights per week, and this will make it easier for those whose first flight arrives in Kuala Lumpur either with Malaysian Airlines or with AirAsia. There is also news that AirAsia will commence flights direct from KL to Sihanoukville in June. It might surprise you to know that people who entered Cambodia on a tourist visa way back in the first quarter of 2020 have been allowed to stay on a rolling exemption until very recently. The government has now decided, though, that these people, the few who are still in the kingdom, have had sufficient time to either go home or to transfer to an appropriate long-stay visa. Any who remain will no longer be able to linger, as the finger of immigration will now fine them $10 for every day they overstay. Let's face it, though, they have had plenty of time to sort things out, and they should be very grateful that they've been able to stay for so long with no visa. We haven't had a percentage story for a while, so let's check in with the new expressway between Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville. As of late April, construction was at 90.95% complete. Wouldn't it be great to know how they work out these percentages? Anyway, the new road is expected to be 100% complete and ready for public use by July this year. It is part of the Belt and Road Initiative. At present, it takes 4 to 6 hours to drive from Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville, but the new road will allow drivers to complete this journey in 2.5 hours. There will be a toll to use the road, but there might be a free period when it is first completed, and the government has promised that all highways will be free to use on Cambodian public holidays. There have been some fierce storms across much of Cambodia, and these have resulted in the death of 6 people, with 14 others injured. Cattle have also been killed and hundreds of properties have been damaged or destroyed across 18 of Cambodia's 25 provinces. Current statistics have 101 houses destroyed and a further 512 sustaining damage. The people who died were killed by lightning strikes while working or sheltering under trees during storms. There have been calls for people to take extreme caution in bad weather, but the need to look after farms and crops has caused people to take risks that have claimed their lives. A Belgian cocaine smuggler who was convicted and received a life sentence in 2018 has passed away in Phnom Penh's Correctional Centre too. He was 40 at the time of his death and passed away as a result of a severe asthma attack. He and another Belgian man were arrested at Phnom Penh Airport. He had travelled a route from Brazil to Ethiopia to Thailand and finally to Cambodia, where he was arrested after officers found over 1 kilo of cocaine hidden within his suitcase. His accomplice was convicted in absentia after going into hiding in Cambodia, but he was arrested 9 months later trying to cross the Ba Viet border into Vietnam. 3 people have been arrested in connection with illegal arms smuggling to Thailand. They were arrested while attempting to cross the border into Thailand. According to local media, Thai police patrolling the border discovered a box containing firearms. The Thai authorities shared the information of the discovery to their Cambodian counterparts, prompting an investigation. The Cambodian forces also discovered firearms at the Cambodian border. It would seem from these previous two stories that attempting to cross a border when you're guilty of a crime is a very good way to get arrested. Now on to crimes of the road. First up, we have a story that made a big splash on social media. A drink-driving senior traffic cop drove his 2021 Toyota Land Cruiser into a fence in Phnom Penh. This is definitely a story that you need to check out for yourself. The number of people taking photos of him drunkenly slumped in his car is impressive. There's also a photo of the man being taken from his car, and he seems to be in a very bad way. His legs are dragging behind him while the two men trying to support him are having a very hard time holding him up. I think he will be very embarrassed about the publicity this incident has received. A few nights earlier, a white Land Rover suffered a similar fate. A man suspected of being drunk drove the Land Rover at high speed into a road divider, hitting a road sign for good measure, before his badly damaged vehicle came to a stop. Obeying the ancient traditions of Phnom Penh's traffic laws, the man then fled the scene, leaving his vehicle to the tender mercies of the Phnom Penh Municipal Police, who are now waiting for the owner to come and claim it, according to the law. It doesn't stop there, though, with this next story being dubbed Star in a Car. Famous actor and TV host Dawood was an innocent victim when his Lexus was hit by another vehicle. The other vehicle was being driven by, you guessed it, a foreign national. Witnesses say Dawood was travelling in his Lexus from west to east at a safe speed. Suddenly, a white Lexus travelling in the opposite direction ploughed into Dawood's car, causing severe damage. Nobody was injured, and the Chinese woman driving the second Lexus paid $550 in compensation to Dawood. While all of the stories we bring you through the news motor could be considered to be in the category of only in Cambodia, this next one tops the charts. Head over to Instagram and you can check out Prime Minister Hun Sen's feed. First things first, as of right now, he's got 93,000 followers. But before you go hitting that follow button, you might want to consider that he is only following 77 accounts. Suffice to say, the PM doesn't follow back. What can you see in the Prime Ministerial grid? Well, you can see some beautiful family shots, and there's a short video of the PM putting a long-range ball. I like it. It's a great way to see the human side of the man. Speaking of family photos, today's good news story is about weddings. The easing of pandemic restrictions across the kingdom has renewed hope among clerics who officiate marriages after fewer weddings took place in the past 2 years. In the wake of declining COVID-19 cases, the government has allowed parties and traditional ceremonies that accompany weddings. One wedding cleric who said that clerics who officiated funerals had worked during the pandemic, but he decided not to switch. I am a wedding cleric, so I cannot work at funerals, and if I do, I will never be hired again for weddings, he said. He is hoping he has plenty of work over the coming months. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you so much for watching. As always, links to the stories mentioned will be in the pinned comments so you can check them out for yourself, and there will also be a link to Itchy Feet on the Cheap channel, as well as Ryan's walking tour, which is his second channel. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.